Boop, boop. Nat's lineup's out.
Oh, and I guess we're live because I just got an alert. Yes. Hello, everybody on the internet and on YouTube in particular. Welcome to the Awesemo.com live before lock show. I'm Chris Spags, joined by Josh Engelman on the other side of the country.
What's up, people?
And I didn't call you handsome today. That I actually just couldn't see your face yet, so I guess I couldn't feel like I could credibly call you handsome yet.
I mean, I'm just as handsome as I normally am, to be perfectly honest.
That's fair. I think I just didn't want to lie to people because, like, what if you had like a mutating accident over the weekend and I didn't know? Like, I don't want to say, "Oh, handsome Josh," and then all of a sudden just Two-Face. It'd be weird.
I probably wouldn't have came to work today.
Yeah, you got acid thrown in your face. It's probably a good reason to take a day off, I think.
I might not turn the webcam on.
Or just wear like one of those masks, like what the Invisible Man would wear.
Or like
so,
Embiid.
Now he has a face.
I'll wear the Embiid mask.
Or yeah, like an underdog Philly mask.
That'd be great.
That'd be appropriate.
And then Justin Winslow will step on it.
What a dick that guy is. Welcome everybody to the chat, to the feed. We are 8 minutes late, in part because we were talking Westworld and kind of lost track of time. That's what happens on this show. And also we were talking about Chris Iannetta getting rolled out because I am playing baseball today. And naturally my catcher would get rolled out before we go on a live stream because that is just the way I play daily fantasy sports. But as always, today we are talking NBA. We are talking MLB. NBA starts a little later tonight, but we're going to talk about that a little bit coming up. We'll get into MLB up front, but first we are doing another contest with Playline on Wednesday. You will be able to guess, is it Butler, Harden, and someone?
It's definitely people in the NBA.
It is people in the NBA. We are doing another contest. It's like another, I don't know what the entry fee is. I didn't click it yet because we got it. Came on the air.
I'm pulling it up right now. Yeah,
so Josh will pull it up. We are doing the same thing again where we are giving away free money if you sign up with a referral code AWESEMO, AWESEMO. You get $5 if you sign up. You get a bonus if you deposit. And Playline, we are trying to figure out. I did my first contest, won money on everything, on every entry I put in, all three. Josh did well. Awesemo won the contest, which is because he's good at this.
Oh, by the way, is Josh going to play this time? Just came up in the chat. Josh finished in the money last time, so I don't want to hear it. Also, yeah, Z Cisco, we need to have a conversation.
Not a bad one. We think Z Cisco might be the winner of the Chris Paul jersey, but unclear because we're flying by the seat of our pants when giving away jerseys on Playline. I think that's the one thing we can say and fully admit here. Yes, Awesemo. So the contest is Jimmy Butler, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden stats on Wednesday. If you get a perfect lineup, you win $1 million. It's obviously very easy to perfectly guess it, and that's why you get $1 million. So should be no problem at all. And just walk right in there, do it. Playline.com/r/Awesemo. And you can join now with our referral code and get free money and play against Josh and I, as well as Awesemo, who is very good at this and much better than we can ever be. MLB, though. Let's talk MLB up front. I actually fully know what I'm talking about because I played some lineups today as opposed to just doing some research before coming on. But Josh, tell me, where are we going today? Where are the top places you're looking?
Yeah, let me hop back over here. Well, this will be great for the J Slice 22. Yo, are you buying into this Walker Buehler hype? Yeah, love Walker Buehler as a value pitcher on DK. I would be having, or I will have, a decent amount of him. I played a couple small lines on DraftKings tonight. So pitching-wise for me, just in an overall sort of scenario, Tanaka is probably my number one, followed closely by Gio. And then
no Carrasco or Cole?
They're in there too. They're just...
It's price.
Yeah, I don't have any... if you told me... I don't have any strong feelings towards Cole, Carrasco, or Gio on DK. Tanaka, to me, is the clear best play on DraftKings because he's $2,000 cheaper than anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
If you're walking through your pitchers and you say you really like Cole or Carrasco on FanDuel, I'm not going to get into an argument with you. All four of those guys look like they're in really good spots, really good. I'm fine with all of them. I'm taking what the data gives me on this one, and just how it breaks, it breaks. But if you wanted to go with way bigger exposure to Carrasco or Cole, I wouldn't argue one bit. Chris Stratton is a guy, now that the line has adjusted a little bit, that's been popping up a lot for me, particularly on FanDuel. It looks like he's going to end up being my main value pitcher, which I'm a little surprised by. I don't necessarily love it, but I'm going to assume there's a reason for it. Actually, we'll do me a favor, since you probably have something along those lines up. Can you tell me what Chris Stratton's ranking is on FanDuel?
Oh, on FanDuel. Actually, I don't have FanDuel up, but I will pull it up. I only have DraftKings. It's what's relevant to me is what I care about.
I'll beat you to it.
No, you won't.
So I like any of the top 4. Stratton is growing on me on the FanDuel side, but yes, I'm very much buying the Walker Buehler hype. If I wasn't taking him on DK as a second pitcher, man, oh man, the cupboard is bare. Maybe Skaggs. I don't really love Cahill. Jake's probably listening to this screaming, so I don't know. I just don't like
touch on your
Rangers.
Question.
What'd you say?
Stratton is a D and a B on FanDuel.
Okay, that makes sense to me.
Okay. I see. I got it done. I just want to point out.
I can look up things. I have a hard time getting away from Buehler here on DK.
Oh, yeah. So I have a lot of Buehler. He fits a lot of things, especially when I confirmed that he actually was the pitcher who was pitching. And I was like, oh, cool. He is. His K rate, though, I assume is being padded by being a reliever. But, boy, his K rate really jumps off the page for his 8 games that he's played. Yeah, I like Buehler a lot. I ended up with him. I don't actually see how you would go away without him, at least from the lineups that I was building, because all the stacks that we have as popular tonight, kind of expensive. They're not cheap stacks today, at least our good ones.
FanDuel's got some cheap stacks. So Padres in particular, just a bargain basement stack. No adjustment for price for playing in Colorado.
Yeah, I think on DraftKings they definitely did adjust, because a lot of those guys, like Will Myers was in, I think he was your pick for hitter.
Yeah.
He was 4,800, I think. Posner was in the 4,000s.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are a couple guys I liked a lot on San Diego. I was wondering though, am I an idiot for liking San Diego, or is it just can you stack San Diego and Colorado tonight? Just assume they're both going to get the pace up from the Rockies Park.
Yeah, I'll have multiple lineups that have them both.
Okay. What about a guy we talked about who just got rolled out, Chris Iannetta? Yeah, I assume he's going to be a popular catcher pick. I think he was our second best value / production guy on DraftKings at least. Would you go to Walters, or is there another catcher who you feel like has value and could be interesting there?
Let's take a look. That's hard to look on FanDuel. Yeah, I don't have a problem going that direction. I think A.J. Ellis looks okay for the Padres. Man, catcher's murky today. Everybody kind of just looks the same. So I'd be fine filling my catcher spot with just sort of whatever stack I was going with. So if I was going to run out a Mariners stack, I would just use Mike Zunino. Or if I was going to do an Indian stack, I would just use Yan Gomes. There's nobody that stands out as an overwhelmingly amazing play, in my opinion. Yasmani Grandal, maybe. I don't know. I would treat catcher as just a place that fills in with multiple other guys that I have. Yeah, Wellington Castillo looks fine if you've got a White Sox stack going on.
I didn't love the White Sox side of it today. That might be because, I don't know. I just didn't get there with anyone. And their pitcher, too, is very bad, is what I ended up stacking a lot. They're playing Seattle tonight, right?
Yeah. No. Wait. Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So I was in the middle of looking at the Dodgers, and I was like, Marlins. Marlins is not Seattle. And I was like, no. Mariners, different team.
No, the Marlins is we are only aware of because they are running into the behemoth that is Walker Buehler. The Nick Trapiano, some would say, of this week. Boy, I could not have. I think I have 100% Walker Buehler out of my 8 or 9 lineups.
Really?
It's just for me for baseball, especially because I'm not maxing out. I'm not going. I'm not even doing a max 20 entry. I'm just doing a couple just so I kind of get a feel of it and kind of learn how to construct things. Buehler makes a lot of sense, and I really couldn't get to anything else. It's hard to get to Cole. I think I have one lineup with Cole. Hard to get to Carrasco. Carrasco, actually, I've liked less as the days gone on because, boy, his money line total has dropped heavily.
Yeah.
He started at a minus 225. As of right now, he's at a minus 180 in Vegas. On the plus side, the over-under has gone down a little bit. But, yeah, I don't know. That kind of gave me some pause that he's dropped that much over the span of the course of a day. I don't know.
Yeah, it's been moving pretty fierce.
Yeah, and whereas, I think Tanaka's gotten better throughout the day. Bueller's gotten way better. This Bueller thing is also kind of baffling to me because he has really no track record to speak of. But boy, Vegas is all over him like crazy.
Starting pitching prospect, former first-round draft pick, top 30-ish prospect on FanGraphs right now. You just got a pedigree, big-time fastball, got a curveball slider combo as well. He's and he's on the Dodgers, so you got to remember, not all of it is just this is how good Walker Buehler is. This is how good the Dodgers are at home playing against the Marlins.
Sure. And I mean, he does have a lot of the stats that I just said before where, for me as somebody who's getting into the game, you see a guy and they don't have a great sample size, but some of the numbers jump off. He averages almost, actually a little over 11.5 K per nine. If his xFIP is 3.92, ERA is not great, but that doesn't matter because we don't really look at that. All the raw numbers that you're supposed to look at to kind of project the pitcher, Walker Buehler does check off, combined with the fact that he's a minus 260 money line in Vegas right now, which would put him above even Garrett Cole and Carrasco, which is pretty crazy. All right, baseball. We will talk NBA, guys. Obviously, we do talk NBA. NBA is my preferred thing to talk about. But with only 2 games, there's kind of not as much to hit on. You want to talk? Let's see. Is there anybody? Is Walker Buehler not an option on FanDuel? He's not, right?
No, he's not.
Yeah, because that game's just not admitted for whatever reason. West Coast timing.
No, he just wasn't a part of the player pool by the time
really?
he got So that game exists. You just can't take that picture. So there's only 15 available pitchers on FanDuel.
That's shitty. Everybody should get to experience Walker Buehler. I don't like that.
I'll experience him in 6 days.
I guess, but that's you're getting sloppy seconds. You want Walker Buehler sloppy seconds? Because I'm going to use them up real good tonight, Josh.
Wouldn't be the first time I had them.
Just running a train on Walker Buehler. Also, these jokes about Walker Buehler will be wild if he busts. Yeah, our sex jokes about running a train on Walker Buehler will be great if he busts. Anyway,
there's a bus joke in there too. If we want to really keep driving this one home,
that's what I was going for. But I don't know how deeply we can go into the male ejaculate based talk.
Not on this channel, we can't.
You try. You try to throw them out there. I think if you use scientific terms, it's probably fine.
That'll be on the Chris and Josh channel that gets spun off when we get fired for saying something stupid.
Listen, if I can't say male ejaculate on a channel, I don't want to work at this place. I'll tell you that. Let's talk basketball.
Yeah.
Go back to MLB as we get closer to lock. But those are the main places to go. Obviously, those pitchers and hitters are going to be the ones that are most popular. Colorado in particular, boy, that game is going to be very highly owned. I think that's the highest team total combined of the day. There's not a lot of places people will look besides there, I think, for hitters. And
there are so many stacks out there. I haven't run it again because I'm still waiting on the Giants lineup in the next 15 minutes or so. But when I ran my crunches originally today, I basically got no Astros, which is scary to me in a situation where on paper I look at this and it's okay, well, they might be a little expensive, but Springer, Altuve, Correa, Gurriel, Bregman are 5 nasty right-handed hitters against a lefty with a huge implied total. I would expect to see the Astros in 15% or so of my lineups. Almost none. And
is that just a price thing?
I guess. It concerns me in a way. I don't I like to see what comes out in the 150 because generally speaking, I'm probably looking at something suboptimal if I'm not getting anything in those 150. But that strikes me as not the best allocation of resources. So I don't know if it's a settings issue for me in Fantasy Cruncher or it's just telling me this isn't the way the math problem works today. They're definitely not zero though. So it might change. That was this morning, so it might be different now that all the lines have adjusted, but we'll see.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll do Josh's crunch a little bit. We will also build a lineup for me because I have one lineup left with Chrissy and Netta, which I have saved for you guys that we can then tweak and manipulate as we see fit towards the end of this stream. So we'll come back to that in a little bit. NBA. Josh is not playing NBA tonight because he is a coward who fears limited options. But
so that's what we're gonna say now. I'm a coward. I don't want to play the 2-game NBA slate tonight with no value plays whatsoever. I'm good.
To be clear, there are value plays, and their names tonight are not Ty Lawson. I did pay off my Ty Lawson bet to Josh before coming off on the air.
I should have put the screenshot of the Venmo transaction on here.
I think what we need to do is start making these like dignity bets. I think that's what we called it in high school, where like it has to be like, oh yeah, like you start the podcast and like do a silly voice for 15 minutes. Like I think more like that, because I can't keep making these outrageous claims and having to pay them. That's
I'm fine with having like a line item in my budget where it just says like $50, where Chris inevitably buys you dinner.
It sucks because so let's just talk Ty Lawson real fast, because if you watch the stream every day, we have these themes that we build upon. The playoffs for me, like I had a good weekend. Ty Lawson hurt my Friday a little bit, in part because he was doing well. Then Boy Bradley Beal sure figured out how to play basketball again, and it sucked because I didn't see the news about like Scott Brooks having to sit down with him and Wall beforehand. And like, boy, they hashed things out in Canada, I guess, before coming back to Washington. But Ty Lawson was close. He just 2 shots, he hit it, and it's upsetting because Ty Lawson is a great story, great comeback, looking very sober and spry on the court. All the things I want to see from Ty Lawson. Won't go back there again unless one of those guys is hurt, but a valuable lesson all the same.
Yeah, I'm gonna eat Chick-fil-A again and just jam it down my face at some point in time this week, which is going to be great. I couldn't really be happier. I'm happy to make these bets on a regular basis. Wow, that line moved a lot. 241.
What line?
Ooh, the Walker Buehler line jumped even since I updated it like an hour ago.
Oh yeah, I think was it a 260 for me?
It's 265 He's at 260 on Pinnacle right now.
The VI consensus is on that. I use Vegas Insider for it, where I guess they pull like a bunch of books and then mash them together. They had him at minus 260.
Yeah, that's healthy.
Yeah, and then what is it? Westgate is at minus 270, and Stations, whatever that is, minus 270 as well. A lot of Walker Buehler action. People really buying the Walker Buehler hype. So also a case to fade him then, because everybody else thinks he's going to be so great.
True. He's going to be really popular tonight.
It's fun. It's like, I think it's sort of interesting when a guy has like no stat lines to go off of and you're just picking them. It's like, ooh, it's like you're getting in a car for the first time. Let's see if we go off a cliff like Thelma and Louise, or if we're driving to glory with Walker Buehler behind the wheel. I'm optimistic. I want to believe.
Dude, this Padres-Rockies game is going to be a monstrosity. Whew.
I liked it. I stacked that one a couple times in my handful of lineups. I think I have like 2 where I just went straight stacks with both sides of that. And it worked out pretty well. But we'll go back to that. We'll go back to that basketball. We talked cheap guys. Somebody in the chat just said Ryan Anderson. So let's talk my super speculative cheap guys for the night.
Okay.
Just guys who I think I have no faith in, but I think you might want to try just to make some salary things work. Along the lines of Ty Lawson, hopefully better than Ty Lawson. But you know what? There is a world where you could have had Ty Lawson and won a tournament. Like, I'm just going to throw that out there. There was a world. I did look on Fantasy Cruncher, whatever the review is the next day. I forget if they have some silly name for that. Anyway, I looked at it. There was one lineup with Lawson which would have won. So it is possible. You got to really have great plays everywhere else, but you can save enough money with one of these guys to win. I don't know it's advisable in any great volume, but it is an idea. Tonight, Ryan Anderson jumps off the page for me. Derrick Rose, a lot of buzz about Derrick Rose in the basketball community. He's kind of gained his form back. Looks a lot like old Derrick Rose. He's had 2 games above old healthy Derrick Rose. Let's put it like that. He has played, I think, like 24 minutes in 2 games this series. Been super high usage throughout. He has some potential. Obviously, he's a bench player whose minutes are kind of fungible, so it goes, it's iffy. But if you are going to play a guy, he's one. Raymond Felton's another one who has gotten some minutes. I don't know that I feel great about him, given Russ's desire probably to carry this game single-handedly. But he's another place I would look under 4,000 where, maybe. And those are the guys I would look at.
We're talking just value?
Just straight like value with a possible chance of being enough to like, get you out of the sort of into a contrarian lineup, let's say.
Okay. Man, I hate the NBA playoffs. From a DFS perspective,
is awful. It's really tight.
Yeah, like Ryan Anderson is worth a look. Oh boy, like Eric Gordon, he's 5,400 on FanDuel, 4,600 on DK. That
I actually like him a fair bit. I wasn't counting him as one of these kind of dart toss values because to me he actually has sort of, he doesn't really have a floor, but at least he's getting like 15 shots a game, so at least that's something.
Let me see if I like anybody else. I'd kill myself if I would roster Derrick Rose.
He's looked good. Joe House today on one of Simmons' podcasts was like, Derrick Rose like looking great, and I was like, thank you, Joe House, for confirming what I thought but was afraid to say out loud.
God, that makes me more confident.
That Rose sucks.
There's no one's opinion that I respect less than Joe House.
I like House of Carbs. He's got a nice.
I like the idea of House of Carbs. I like House, but oh my god! Anytime he's talking gambling and he's like, that team is 8-1 against the spread on the road in July on a Wednesday, and it's like, okay, click.
He's kind of a funny thing where I think he's learning how to be a broadcaster on the fly, and like you could hear in some of the podcasts he does with Simmons, where Simmons will like browbeat him. Like in kind of a mean way, but I guess the same way you would a friend you've known since college when you're guys in your late 40s, early 50s, whatever they are.
Yeah, you're going to talk to someone that you've known for 30 years in a social setting, way different on a podcast than like an actual interview.
But yeah, I remember what you were like, because that was in the beginning where he was doing it. And thought he had to bring all this data. It's just funny to see it as like, for me, where it's like I've worked at places where it's a more informal broadcasting setting. And you see people come in, it's like, this is what I assume a broadcaster is. Let me throw 10,000 data points at you. And eventually one will stick and you'll think I'm great. But in reality, it's just like, what are you saying? Just be a human.
Yeah, I'm with you. Ugh, Rose would be a tough one for me, man. Like I could see PJ Tucker as like a flyer at 3,900, but he's not that kind of guy. Like you're banking on some steals and such.
Oh, thanks, Thomas Bennett. You two guys are great. This is so much better than Blodo Blinders, that site that we don't mention.
I'm not familiar with that website.
Is that a DFS site, or I don't even know? That sounds Grinder, I know, but not Roto Grinders.
Weird. I don't know that one either.
I only know about it through media, not from casual experimentation.
Not from the app on your home screen.
It's not. Yeah, it's actually just like it's not even like a lock screen. It's just whenever I open my phone, it's like, oh, did you mean to open Grinder? Like, yeah. No.
That's your lock screen. You got to swipe one way or the other on some dude.
This is just my phone just knows too that we're speaking straight to the latent parts of my brain. Gerald Green, no. Antoine Murphy's just throwing out names in the $4,000 range. Gerald Green, I'm going to say no. Jay Crowder, I'm going to say no. Here's one for you, Josh. Would you go Ariza or Taj Gibson or Corey Brewer?
I would go Corey Brewer.
He seems like the safest of the three. Taj,
you're asking me that on DK, so let me look at those prices in a different way.
I think they're all Brewer's 4,400, Ariza and Gibson are both 4,300. I know this offhand because I've seen it at my home screen.
They're literally right here. Yeah, I would go Brewer.
Yeah, Brewer seems like the safest to me of those three. Gibson hasn't had a game over 20 points versus the Rockets all year. That worries me a little bit, given that he has to hit 20 to hit value. Ariza, I think, is so touch and go. I don't see him getting the shots, especially with Ryan Anderson there kind of taking some of his stuff away. So I don't love any of them, but I think Corey Brewer is the best of those three. Antoine Murphy, those guys you're saying no to are the overlooked people that are being disregarded and are perfect for GPPs on a 2-game slate. No, that is stupid logic, stupid person logic, in fact, because you're pointing to guys just because they're there. It's not about you have to have a guy in 4,000. Like, I see the point of, like, Derrick Rose. I see the point of, like, even Felton, where you're saying, like, oh, I want to get that guy in, and then you're getting another guy who's, like, whatever, who's going to be 7,000 but has the upside of 50 points to get in there. I get that, but don't force feed $4,000 guys with low upsides just to try to, because you think that's how they're perfect for GPPs. They're not perfect for a GPP. Perfect for a GPP is like Karl Anthony Towns, because he's got upside, but also like a floor, which has been pretty terrible. Like that's a GPP play in the playoffs. A GPP play in the playoffs is not the same as the regular season because there's no value to farm. You're just forcing value in stupid ways. Sorry, Antoine Murphy, but boy, you're upsetting me with your calls in the chat. It's just like they're just bad. Don't give people bad advice. I give enough bad advice on my own. We don't need to throw in more bad advice variables.
Ooh, there we go. Sick burn.
Ty Lawson. But you know what? Ty Lawson makes sense because you're going for a high-usage player who can get it done in a short burst, like a Jamal Crawford. That's a GPP play because he can score a lot fast. He can do a lot for you fast. Jay Crowder exists like to just play like 35 minutes of mediocrity. That's his role. That's his role in life. If he's getting 20 minutes of mediocrity, he does nothing for you. So that's like it's just GPP plays. Like people hear these terms and are like, oh, this guy's a GPP play. Just because a guy sucks doesn't mean he's a GPP play.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
It's just like these playoffs have been, I think, sort of crystallizing for me in some respects because they force you to look at a lot of stuff, which Alex Osmo has kind of browbeaten into us, where it's like you're looking for usage, you're looking for minutes, you're looking for those kind of things, point per minute, you're looking for stuff like that. And the temptation is you want to force value in there, and you want to force the Malcolm Brogdons of the world who've averaged 0.65 points per minute on the floor. And then you do that, and your lineup is sunk because the guy's like, oh, well, he was 4,800. It made sense. That's not the reason to play the guy. And that's sort of where you have to go, like, to win in a playoff thing. And I say this because I feel like I finally get it. It's just this is a 2-game slate, so I don't even know how to pivot besides trying to maybe, I don't know. Like, how would you pivot on a 2-game slate, Josh?
I would play baseball. I would pivot right off of this shit into a different sport where there's actually options. Which is exactly what I did. I pivoted directly out of this nonsense, so I don't even have to have this conversation of, do I want to roster Alex Abrinas or Royce O'Neal tonight? No, I'm good. I'm going to roster people that are actually going to play stuff.
It's like, okay, so Tori Runth asking again, Ryan Anderson, is he playing more than 20 minutes? See, Ryan Anderson is another perfect example of an actual GPP play where it's like he can score 20 minutes or 20 points in 15 minutes because he just hits threes and that's all he does. He might get a few boards, might get a block, but like that's it. He's the kind of guy you're looking for. They have to be so productive in a short period of time like Derrick Rose has been. I mean, not that Derrick Rose is a great play, but the guy's taking 15 shots in 19 minutes in a game. Like that's where you want to go. Like Ariza, who's just going to be on the floor. I mean, not Ariza necessarily, but trying to think of another guy this dude mentioned. Just like the guy's just on the floor does nothing for you. Like it's great, but like that's just not going to get you anything.
I'm with you on Ryan Anderson. Like I don't think he's a good play, but he's the kind of flyer you want to take. A guy that can accumulate stats quickly.
Yeah, I mean, there's no to me, there's no perfect comp to it, but it's like the same thing as like an NFL where there's a scat back who might take one to the house but only gets 5 touches. Like those are GPP plays, not just like, just pivots for the sake of pivoting. I'd rather have like 100 lineups with Ingles and Wiggins and like guys in that tier than have like a Westbrook human walking dog shit package. Like, where like it's basically what these guys are saying, like for value. And it's like, no, I don't need to play Alex Abrinas tonight. Like, I get it. I know what value is. But if you did have to play Josh, who is the one guy in NBA tonight who you would say is like a must building block or a guy we should like kind of start a lineup with?
I'll give one for both sites. On DraftKings, it's Gobert.
I agree.
Just 6,900. I'm in for Gobert. And on FanDuel, probably Harden. I think, like, you're not going to hear that answer a lot, I don't think. But I just think he's in a really nice spot in a game that they want. You're paying up for it, obviously. if we're looking for a guy that's like a little bit more feasible from a price perspective, probably Derek Favors. But I think Harden grades out really nicely. I would rather have Harden over Westbrook tonight.
So you're not buying the Westbrook narrative. Somebody asked us in chat, but it didn't make sense to go to it then. Westbrook had an interview where he was like about Ricky Rubio, kind of putting up numbers on him. He said that shit stops tonight. I believe was his exact quote. Seems like
is Paul George going to guard Ricky Rubio?
Do you think Russ has stopper ability in him? Like, does he have a chance to kind of change the game and narrative single-handedly?
No.
Okay. All right.
Russ doesn't have the ability to change what Ricky Rubio is doing on the floor.
I actually agree with that, though I do have a couple lineups tonight where I pivoted off of Rubio and just went like, well, okay, fine. What if Westbrook takes him? What happens then? To me, that means if like Rubio totally faltered somehow because Russ shut him down, whatever that means. And even then, I think if he gets shut down, he's still a pretty good 5x value kind of guy. That said, if Rubio did get shut down, Ingles would do a little more playmaking. In theory, Mitchell would do a little more playmaking. I don't think that Russ can shut Rubio down fully, but I think those are the guys who would pick up a little more if he did do that. That's a thought process to have because, like, I had so much Rubio, and I love Rubio, and I've loved Rubio all year, at least the second half of the year. But there is a chance, like, Russ does some crazy stuff because he is not happy with that team, and the team is not happy. And you could see, like, I wrote today, Paul George's effort last game was half-assed at best, and it was like he's kind of phoning it in now in a way where, like, I feel like they might just end up losing the next 2 games. And that means either Russ is going to have to do some crazy shit, Paul George is going to have to snap out of it, but something has to change there or they're going to get blown off the floor. So I don't know.
I hope they do get blown off the floor.
They need to change things up. That team kind of needs something different. And I think Paul George with his foot half in all year has not been the right approach. Even though he's had good moments, like he's not playoff Paul George at all. His stupid nicknames he gives himself are not accurate.
They should probably get like Oladipo would be good on this team. I think Sabonis would look pretty decent on this. Shit! They traded him for a year, Paul George.
Oh yeah.
Actually,
okay. Let's touch baseball again real fast because we're getting some more baseball questions. We'll come back to basketball. Basketball's got another hour before it locks.
Ooh, Giants lineup is in, so every lineup is now official, people, if you care about that kind of stuff, which you should.
Is Will... Okay, this guy Antoine Murphy is... we're going to go to baseball. Antoine Murphy's asking, is pairing Harden and Russ contrarian tonight? Are you just trolling me? Like, yes, that is contrarian because it doesn't make sense to do it.
It's hard to do.
Like, yeah, because that's what this guy wants to ask about. Like, oh, what do we think about Pat Patterson? Is it his big night? Is he going to go for 40? Because it's like you can't get to Russ and Harden. You can't do that. That's not how this works. That's not how it's meant to be.
I can't even imagine what that lineup would look like. Actually, let's imagine it right now.
It has to be like Ryan Anderson,
DK or FanDuel, I guess. DK.
Yeah, let's say DK, but I think either is going to be sort of similar. It's got to be like a Ryan Anderson, Derrick Rose, Felton. Like you're playing like all these like idiots just.
No, that's actually not half bad. Russ, Harden, Wiggins, Patterson, Adams, Gordon, Brewer, Ingles.
I don't like Adams much. I don't. No, but it's not awful. It's not awful.
That's way better than I expected it to be.
No, you're right. You're right. Still stupid. I stand by it. This guy really got me fired up. I don't want you to play. Don't play Felton and Rose. Just don't play one of those guys if you want to get cute. If you play all those guys, I don't think it's going to work out well. But if you win $100,000 and I'm wrong, then I'll admit that, and that's all you'll get out of it. But I want to like shake you, Antoine Murphy.
I don't want to shake you as hard because that was way better of a lineup than I expected it to be when I first clicked on it.
Keep Adams. He's in OKC's game plan tonight. That doesn't mean anything. That's not motherfucker.
I like Adams. I'm gonna be. Do you want to do an Adams Chick-fil-A bet?
No.
I know how this story goes. I read this book before.
this is actually okay. This is a good test to see if I can single-handedly affect outcomes by believing they can't occur. So
reading The Secret.
I think that's. I just think Adams sucks, but I don't want to fucking be wrong on that one. If I make Adams good this series, I'm gonna be pretty upset.
The only way it's happening is if you put a Chick-fil-A sandwich on it.
No, because I don't have it in my lineups anyway. No, I'm not gonna help you, Steven Adams. You're on your own. You're on your own.
I was trying to help my tummy tum.
Oh God. Dexter Pope. Whatever. I don't need to play cash games to prove anything. Actually, you know what? I would play a cash game versus a lineup that solely had Steven Adams, Anderson, Felton, like all those guys. I would play a cash game against that. Otherwise, I don't need to prove anything to you guys in the chat. Just here to yell at things. MLB again. So is Will Myers still one of your top hitters on the day?
He is if you're looking at my screen right now, where he's the #1 name on the crunched lineups that are coming up. So yeah, I love Will Myers today.
Okay. I also like Will Myers. Would you play him? I guess is this an issue on FanDuel? Because I still haven't played FanDuel baseball. I'm only playing DraftKings. If you had to choose between Will Myers or Hosmer, because they're both first basemen, it might shake out that way with lineup wise. Which would you go with?
Okay, so you can play them in multiple ways on FanDuel, so it's not an issue.
Ooh, that's nice.
You can play them as Hosmer's a first baseman, Myers is an outfielder on FanDuel, but there's also a utility spot.
Okay.
So even if they were, you can still play them both. If I had to pick, I assume you're asking me that question then from a DK perspective, so I can answer that in 1 second. Rockies.
To be clear, Antoine Murphy says Green and Crowder are going to be in the winning lineup. Josh, I'll bet you Green and Crowder are in the winning lineup tonight. How about that? Can we make that Chick-fil-A bet?
Are you saying are or aren't?
Are not. This Antoine Murphy character thinks he will see once Gerald Green and Jay Crowder are. Jamison Crowder would be great. I actually like him on the Redskins. Yeah. Jay Crowder, though, not so much.
I'm with you.
Okay. You sure you don't want to take a Chick-fil-A bet on that for Antoine Murphy?
I'm pretty confident that that they both won't be in the winning lineup. If you call that, you're in real good shape. Given the two, I would take. Man, that's close. I'll take Hosmer now. If Margot was hitting leadoff, I would have taken Myers. Wow.
Okay. I didn't like Margot. I didn't see it on his numbers didn't really bear out for me in a meaningful way, but I feel like he's been mentioned everywhere. And I'm wondering, I don't know, how do you decide which guys to play in a stack? Because Margot to me seems like a guy who could go either way, but he didn't wow me. Would you just play him because you're stacking guys, or I don't know?
I would play him exactly same reason I'm going to be playing Franchi Cordero tonight. He's hitting leadoff in Colorado, and he's $3,000 on FanDuel, which I think Margot was even cheaper than that. You're playing him because they have the opportunity to get a bundle of plate appearances, and each plate appearance is worth X amount of points by default. Your expected value of every single plate appearance is X if you know nothing else about it. So every time you can get an extra one, it's just free expected value for your guy, regardless of what's going on. So if he's hitting leadoff in Colorado with a 4.8 run implied total, I'll take him almost by default. Which is basically why I'm taking Franchi Cordero today.
Got it. Okay.
I don't know why he's leading off. That's a terrible spot to put a guy with a projected 287 on base percentage. But he's got the chance to pick up 5 plate appearances or something tonight, which it's hard to turn your back on something like that.
No, that makes sense. So are there any less popular stacks that you think could have value tonight? Is there anything which isn't popping up a bunch, but you see kind of having that upside?
The Astros for me, but I'm probably in the minority there. They're nowhere to be found in my crunch.
But despite the fact that they're a phenomenal team who's been slaying everyone.
Yeah, I like the Astros on a personal standpoint way more than what's coming out of this for me right now.
This guy, I can't.
He's still tilted, man. You gotta let it go.
It's just because he just keeps saying things where I'm just what? It doesn't make sense. Especially the two guys fixating on Crowder and Green bothers me a lot because they're two guys I look at a lot. And I've looked at a lot throughout the year. I like them because of what the upside. but it's just not. It's the playoffs now, and that's not how that works. And it's not going to be a situation where, oh God, it's just.
It's going to be really great when they go off.
You know, if they do, I honestly like. Are we? By the way, are we doing the stream tomorrow differently?
I believe we are.
Okay, so should we talk about that just to kind of proof them for it?
Sure.
Okay, so
tomorrow.
Yeah, Josh is quitting forever. No, for one day. He's doing. We're changing the schedule up here, so it'll be me and Jake Hari tomorrow, talking MLB. I don't even think Jake cares about the NBA at all. I guess we'll talk some NHL because Jake will be on. We're gonna figure it out, and I'm gonna have to find things to get mad about without a person to counterbalance me by calling me an idiot or betting fried chicken things.
I think Jake is gonna be getting himself into some fried chicken bets now.
I mean, look, somebody's
putting lineups in.
It's true. I could make him like put a lineup in or something. That may be the way to go because I can't not talk NBA. Like especially with the Antoine Murphys of the world fucking being a douche. Actually, not even a douche. I don't know why it makes me so angry, but it's just like I think it's like me talking to myself and being like, why don't play the smart guy? Play the guys who are playing, not the guys who like shoot 2 shots and they're playing 20 minutes. It's just I need a
Tell
break.
me how you really feel. You're all fired up about like the 9th guy you put in a lineup on DK on a 2-game basketball slate tonight.
Because that's the choices you have to make tonight, and like if you're making any lineups, it's just like everybody's dealing with the same moral conflict all day.
You need to go eat a Snickers.
I might. I'm not myself when I'm lacking blood sugar. I also I haven't eaten today. That might be a part of it.
That's what I'm telling you. You need to go eat a Snickers.
If anybody has any MLB either ors, throw them in now. We'll hit them before lock. So chat, get them in there. Antoine doesn't have me flustered, guys. It's just like because I want to communicate to somebody who I find super dumb, like the way to do it, and I can't do that because there's like you really can't tell somebody like, oh hey, like you're wrong because like they might not be wrong. It's just there are chances, but it's still like you're talking about diminished projections. You're talking about like a 1 in 1,000 chance versus if you play guys who are, a 500 in 1,000 chance. Like Wiggins is like a 500 in 1,000 chance guy. So why not pay 1,000 more for him instead of like dealing with flotsam? That's me. Oh, Christian Villanueva is out. Is that a thing? Josh?
He was in as of a couple minutes ago. Did that just come out?
I don't know. The Dewasian spawn traps.
Yeah, he just got scratched.
Oh, that's not ideal. Yeah, do you want to do a crunch then? Because I need to take Villanueva
out. I'm doing the exact same thing.
Everybody get your Villanueva out. Villanueva looked really good today, too.
Yeah, I had him in, let's see what we had. 10%, but still, 10% he's got to come out of, that's for sure.
Who is playing for Villanueva?
Spangenberg.
Okay. So does it seem like a very exciting option?
You're not a big Corey Spangenberg guy?
Not off the top of my head, but maybe if I did a little more research, I could talk myself into it. Maybe if you were playing 20 minutes a game. Then...
Hosmer, Villanueva out, Perella to 4, Swaj to 5, Galvis to 6, and then let's get the Spang.
Do you have any immediate thoughts on DeShields on FanDuel?
I liked him this morning in like you gotta play this guy because he's cheap kind of way. Minimum salary on FanDuel, like he's just you gotta kind of have some of him because of his price point.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I don't like him just in general, like as a person I like to roster, but it's hard to pass on a guy when they're minimum salary and they're batting leadoff and their implied total isn't 5 or isn't like 3.5. It's 4.8 or something today.
Man, I didn't realize I have like 70% Villanueva. Probably because you remind me of Charlie Villanueva, another popular NBA bench player.
Charlie Villanueva was the man.
He had like some weird skin condition thing though, which I feel like was never fully addressed.
He did. No
Alopecia.
hair.
Spangler.
His Bielitsa play, he's only 3,500 on FanDuel.
Oh, no, Bielitsa to me is not a play at all.
I don't expect him to get enough minutes.
Yeah, if the game blew out or something, that was the only reason he got run the other day, was because the game got completely out of hand. So he played well, but that didn't parlay to any extra minutes. I think he only got 8 last game after he played well. So those rotations aren't changing unless it's a blowout, and they just want to not get hurt. Shit. Boy, it's tough to sub a guy when you have stacks. That is that is terrible.
It doesn't make it easier, that's for sure.
So actually, here's a question: what would you do then? We're close to lock or close-ish. It's a lock. Would you just put in a random guy at that point if the stack falls apart with a guy like Villanueva being out?
I would. I did it recently. I don't remember who it was. It went really poorly, but it's not look. It's better to have it's better to put anyone else in that spot than to take the guaranteed 0. So
right,
you don't have enough time to rerun 150 lines and work through it. Just get somebody in.
Brandon T. Raymond Felton is worth the risk because he shoots shots and does things on the court. Yes, that is accurate, Brandon T.
Yeah, I'll pass on Felton.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's also not a great play either, but at least there's a point to him existing, I think is sort of how I feel about it. I don't even know. This Bob C is a question for FanDuel Cash if you want to read it. I don't know who Crush is.
Neither do I.
Ooh. TN says Donovan Mitchell could be high owned tonight on FanDuel. Yes, he could be. Jesus. Donovan Mitchell should be highly owned on both sides tonight. He's one of the safest plays with a lot of upside as well.
Agreed.
And he's also a great pivot if Rubio does get faltered and if Westbrook shuts him down somehow.
Okay. Crush Davis, a.k.a. Chris Davis. Just go with Chris Davis in that scenario.
Yeah, it's weird to use a pet nickname that neither of us uses.
I just, I see so many names in chat. It's real. It's hard to hash that out when there's a lot of stuff going on. I would rather have Delmonico and Davis.
Okay.
I don't really love Perella and Cordero for cash. Cordero is not a traditional cash play to me.
Okay. DPiana23 asking a FanDuel basketball question, but one that seems straightforward for, I think, what Josh and I both will say. Josh, would you go Harden and Felton or Butler and Rubio? Or rather, Mitchell and Rubio?
Mitchell and Rubio.
You wouldn't go Felton?
No.
Yes, I would agree. I think that Mitchell and Rubio is a much more logical play because they're two players who get guaranteed minutes who are going to do something. If you want to be super contrarian, then Harden and Felton would be the play. But going Felton is just a tough play unless you think Harden's going to go crazy.
Yeah, if that's your 150th lineup, it's a different equation. If we're talking about a single bullet, I'm not going to have a ton of Felton.
I think that's part of my thing, too, is a lot of times when I see these questions, I try to think, would you waste your money on this, Chris? And I think that's sort of how I try to approach all these decisions. Would I waste my money on Ty Lawson? In small amounts, yeah, I would, and I did. Would I waste money on Tim Quarterman in small amounts? Yeah, I would, and I did.
You love North Carolina point guards.
I didn't even realize that was an ongoing theme, but that's true. Even Ed Cota back in the day, I feel like I made him in one of whatever the NBA game of the time was because he didn't play in the pros, really. And I upped his stats because I was like, Ed Cota was so great. Why isn't Ed Cota getting run? We might have tapped into something psychologically for me. Dozier or Cano? No sight given.
I like Cano a lot tonight.
Cano looks like a very good part of a Seattle stack.
Yeah, I would lean Cano on FanDuel. And definitely Cano on DK.
Okay, that works for me. Oh, okay. If I were swapping out, Josh, totally theoretically, if I were swapping out Villanueva and I could get to either Bregman, Sano, Gurriel, or Cozart, which of those four would you go to?
Bregman, Sano, Gurriel, or Cozart. Gurriel is my first thought.
Well, you have two Houston guys to choose from, though, and you did like Houston.
Yeah. I would take Gurriel over Bregman. You said Sano?
Yeah, Sano or Cozart.
Yeah, I'd go with Gurriel.
Okay. Done.
I gotta get my DraftKings lines in here.
Yeah, this is a lot of guys getting ruled out. It's not.
Did it happen
baseball
again?
is always supposed to not be like this.
You got me nervous, like it had happened again.
No, well, I also had one other dude I just took out. I still had one with Margot, so that's why.
Ah.
Time
Time to run some DK. I maxed the quarter. I'm getting wild.
Ooh, you're in full baseball mode now.
I am. I'm getting close to increasing volume.
Would you play Joey Gallo tonight, Josh?
Would I play Joey Gallo tonight? Yeah. Ranger stack looks fine.
Yeah.
Gallo looks great. 3,500 on FanDuel, 3,800 on DK. I like anything in a 1 through 6 Ranger stack.
I think Gallo is our only A value and A in points on DraftKings on the Texas side.
Oh, nice.
So that's something noteworthy.
So yeah, I would certainly play him then.
So there you go. So Josh was right. We tested Josh, and now we know. Boy, Bob C's being a real dick too. We just answered your question, dude, with your silly name choice too.
Makes me miss Joe C. Kid Rock homie.
He is long gone.
Yes, he is.
We lost another tiny person too, Vern Schroeder, this weekend.
We did. That makes me so sad. I was a big fan of him on that celebrity show where he got real hammered and peed in the corner. And he's just
was that Celebrity Rehab?
Like, I could hear his voice in my head. This would have been a really big week for my former death pool. We would have had a lot of people.
Death pools are dark. That's one I've never been a part of. I don't know why. I just feel like it's bad karma.
Yeah, we went 3 years pretty hard in the paint and then kind of just had to back off of it. We were in it big time when Whitney died, which was like the crowning moment of it all.
Ooh, that's not a good pick. It's a fairly obvious but still way ahead of our expiration date pick.
Yeah, it was like a day before my birthday, I think. It was a big moment. My phone went insane.
Wait, I feel like Amy Winehouse too was maybe around that same time frame.
Somewhere similar, yeah. I think it was just before it, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I think that one would be like a big one, even though again another person with serious addiction issues, but still like a surprise nonetheless that she passed that soon.
This will sound like an unbelievable thing to say out loud, but it's 100% true. At one point in time, I had me and 6 other friends drafted 15 guys in a snake, or 15 guys or girls in a snake draft, and that was like your team, and you got points based on the life expectancy of a person at that particular age. So if you had like somebody that was 18, crazy amount of points. If you had like Barbara Bush, it was very minimal.
I've seen that. There was a guy who I met when I drove cross country who was like a Twitter follower, and I like got beers with random people I was going. And he had the similar thing where it was they had like an Excel spreadsheet. It was actually very involved.
Yeah, I tracked it all on the website. I had a big sheet with everybody's birthdays and stuff. Either way, I had 2 people at once in a coma, and they both came out of the coma. I had Robin Gibb in a coma, and I had Shifty Shellshock, the lead singer of Crazy Town, also in a coma at the exact same time. Neither guy died. I feel like a horrible person for saying it and being bummed about it, but like I assumed that I was going to be like rolling in points at that point, and neither guy died. You
should have just been like, hey, like protest outside and be like, I believe in his right to move on to the other life.
Every couple of years, I have Or every year, like I get a couple tweets in and around that time where I'm like really angry that people came out of comas.
How about Terry Schiavo? How do you feel about that one?
Oh, that one's rough.
that one went your way though.
She was long before this.
That broke your way. That woman's being put down, sadly. Okay. Oh, so Derrick Rose and Ryan Anderson are going to be chalk now. Apparently, we have Derrick Rose and Ryan Anderson. We have Derrick Rose currently. By the way, sign up for an Osmo.com premium account. You can see all of our ownership, so you don't make dumb choices like that. Derrick Rose is being projected for 16% ownership. Jay Crowder is being projected for 15%. Ryan Anderson is being projected for 13%. There's no world in which that is chalk.
Nope.
That is not chalk. When you are doing any amount of lineups, you would have the highest owned guys in the world. You have one Derrick Rose or one Jay Crowder or one Ryan Anderson. You will not have a chalky lineup. You will have a very contrarian lineup. The whole point of chalk is that most of your lineup should be chalk, like good chalk, guys who are doing well, guys who are being played. What you want to do is change one thing from that. It could be a Derrick Rose. It could be just going to like a lower-owned, I don't know, lower-owned Jeff Teague. Jeff Teague won't be lower-owned, but just as an example. Like, that's sort of what a pivot is. That's how you get a contrarian lineup, by making slightly tougher choices to make it just a little bit different. Not by, like, farming. Not by going full Farmville. Great game.
I never played it.
I enjoyed it just because, like, you could build a farm, and it felt like you were accomplishing something, and I think I gave up after a day.
How bad did you how bad did you want to build a farm that you were like, oh, I've always wanted to build a farm? Oh, there's a game where I can build a farm? What a day.
I lived in like New York, and then there's a chance where everybody's talking about farming, and then I never like did the whole thing where you bother other people for like lives or hosed or whatever it may be that you were doing.
Hosed?
Well, like,
am I not as familiar with Farmville as I should have been?
You know, like you have your hose, and you have like you got a hoe. You got a hoe. That's how you hoe.
Apparently, I should have been playing Farmville. It was a much different game than I didn't want to grow corn, like digital corn and shit, but it
was fun because you were accomplishing something. I don't know. It's one of those things where it was probably just an of the moment thing. Like Pokemon Go, I was into for a little bit too.
I
where
played
it's like,
for like the first 3 days. I walked around my neighborhood a little bit, took the dogs on a walk, boop, bopped a couple Pokemon every now and again, and then I was just like, I fucking hate this. I don't want to go out walking.
See, for me, I would do it whenever I was walking my dogs. I would have it on because when you would walk around, you hatch a Pokemon egg that would give you like little prizes and like whatever.
I just wish they did it like I want the American version of that, where you go around catching like ugly girls or nerdy dudes, and like you want them to turn into like Kendall Jenner. I don't know. If
you could evolve people like at that, I think that'd be great. But that's also
great if you started with like Chloe, then it became Courtney, and then instead of getting Kim, you got Kendall Jenner, and then like the Uber one, you got Caitlyn.
I thought you were going with some sort of genetic experimentation thing, where like perhaps we could start to evolve people like Pokemon.
I would just rather play the game where it was like interesting things, not made up like goblins and stuff.
I like made-up goblins. I think
I've got a Nintendo 3DS sitting on the desk right across from me with, I would imagine, Pokemon still in it. So I'm a fan, but like I would like the Americanized version of that game. I think
we had one. I think it was called Monster Rancher. Very derivative.
Yeah.
Which in a way is American itself.
True.
But any other basketball questions? We're not going to go till lock, obviously, because I think I would kill myself today if we had to do that.
Not happening.
But if you have any good basketball questions left that aren't stupid, please put them in there.
Also, to whoever was asking about Stratton before, you just missed the beginning of the video. I was perfectly fine with him. He looks okay on FanDuel.
So this is the thing, like when you're watching these videos, in the beginning we're touching on everything that we kind of go after, that we're seeing Josh just talking about the slate and the way he views it. So like you got to come in the beginning because that's when you're going to get the best information. The questions we try to get to when we can, but it's like it's a tough thing to balance when people are kind of sending 10 at a time, and some of them we've touched upon several times throughout a video. Let's see. Oh yeah, let's look at some ownership while we have that. Actually, while I have that on DraftKings. A rare treat. Tanaka, 33% on DraftKings.
I haven't seen a picture yet. Carrasco is 26%.
This guy asking Cat and Capella in the same lineup. There's no issue with having Cat and Capella in the same lineup. I don't think Capella's that great of a play, though. But I think you could have them both. I think Capella's been mostly shut down. After they got kind of crushed by him in that first game, they've done a lot to try to limit his possessions and his rebounds. So he's been actually one of the key focuses, I think, of the Timberwolves team.
All right, Carrasco in this tournament is 26. I've got him at 17, so go Baltimore. I guess I should just look through my own entries.
Yeah, I only have Bueller and Cole, so I don't know anybody else to help out with. Carrasco, according to Peter Donato, is 40% in the big DK tournament. DK, by the way, is having, if you guys want to play baseball, DK's having a very big run of games this week for whatever reason. We're not promoters. We're not paid promoters of DraftKings, at least that I'm aware of.
I would like to be.
Yeah, that'd be great. I wish they would just bankroll me every night. That could be. I'll whore the shit out of them. But yeah, if you want to get into MLB, it's a good time to do it. Especially if you have some extra bankroll. I don't know, play your 150 lineups, lose them all probably.
Kipnis 7%, Ramirez 6, Lindor 6. Cool. I have a little bit more than that. I've got 11 Lindor, 11 Kipnis, 10 Ramirez. So I'm very happy about being heavy on the Indians. Shit, something already happened. Oh. Lindor with a walk. Tongue my balls, people. I've got double the field.
You did put Lindor as like one of your things. I actually have him in a lineup because you mentioned Lindor.
He's already on the base pass, and it locked 4 minutes ago. I'm clairvoyant.
Ooh, yeah, there we go. Now I have 2 points. Thanks, Josh.
Wow, Tanaka, 10% owned.
That's crazy.
I've got 17%, so.
Yeah, Lindor is only 6% owned. So if Lindor has a great day, it's going to be all you, Josh. That carried me to $100,000 in DraftKings MLB lineups.
Dude, if you win $100,000 today, I want Chick-fil-A for a week. If Lindor is in the winning lineup. Yeah,
no, I think you're right. I think that would be a totally fair thing. I would buy you the run of the Chick-fil-A if I won $100,000 because I went onto a player just because I read it in your article. That'd be funny. Like we talk.
I'm flying out to eat that Chick-fil-A live. If you win $100,000 tonight,
that'd be worth it. I go straight on a live stream and just go get Chick-fil-A myself.
There you go. I'm really excited about being a little heavy on the Indians tonight.
Yeah, I didn't get to them. I saw you talk about them. The price didn't work on DK because I wanted to play Ramirez because he's had some fat lines lately, and I was like, hey, he might be hot. I don't know if heat is a thing that we look at as a stat. But I feel like sometimes the baseball player, at least from my limited watching as a kid, or not limited, but watching it a lot growing up, guys just get on a heater too, right? Is that a thing? Not statistically, but that could be a thing.
I don't have much of any of these games. I don't have a ton of Yankees, so. I
like the Yankees. I thought Judge was a good play tonight. Gary Sanchez always is like a catcher default for me because he actually does things, and I feel like that always gets me. But that's probably why the Yankees were always popular.
Yeah, I have a minimal amount of these guys. I got one lineup with Sanchez, 4 lines with Stanton. So not a ton of Yankee stuff for me. So go with someone else, I guess. A go pitchers duel, I guess, because I've got more Tanaka than anything else. So I hope that it's just he rolls like a 1-0 complete game shutout.
Somebody's asking about Ariza's ownership. You can find out if you get an Osmo.com premium membership, but it's an easier way to answer that question every single time. I will tell you that we currently have him projected for over 20% ownership. So he will be a more popular play because, again, people will be looking for cheap plays that actually get minutes. So he is a person who can be considered more than Gerald Green, who does not actually get minutes and stay on the court. Ariza or Jay Crowder? Are you ironically asking this question? I think I would go Ariza if I have to choose, but I would try to get some cheaper guys elsewhere to get to the 5K range. If you have to play anybody in 4K, I would feel best about Eric Gordon, but even then, I didn't feel terribly great about it. Anybody want Peter for a head-to-head? Hit him up. Looking at you, Antoine Murphy. Go challenge Peter. Peter could be my proxy. Yeah, all right. Well, nothing else good. I don't know. It's like,
Let's plug Playline again.
Yeah, Playline. Wednesday, we are doing a contest on Playline. You can guess James Harden, Jimmy Butler, and who's the third? And Russ's lines, yes. In a contest versus me, versus Josh, versus Osimo, versus Jake Hari, versus Osimo again, probably. He's going to have a couple lineups that'll probably beat all of ours. Yes, but you can go against us. And you can prove, you can pick all of the things that, the rebounds, the assists, the points, just all the stuff that's important to basketball. You can pick, you can win money. If you go sign up now, playline.com/r/Awesemo, AWESEMO. You will get a free $5 just for signing up, so you don't even have to pay for the tournament against us. And honestly, you will win money more likely than not as long as you know what you're doing. And I'm pretty sure we will have an article about it. Josh may even talk about it a little in his video. We'll give you some information to help you figure it out. But it's a pretty easy way to build your bankroll if you're trying to play DFS and learn how to do things. Playline.com/r/Awesemo. Yep. And join the tournament. We're playing on Wednesday.
Yeah, the tournament's called Awesemo.com presents the $1 million perfect line bonus, $2,500 guaranteed. The tournament is called You're Awesome. 1,000 to first, so get in for that stuff, guys.
Yeah, it's a pretty good deal. And again, $1 million if you somehow guess those three players' lines completely right. The odds obviously not terribly in favor for that, but the idea of being able to win $1 million, I mean, I play one entry into Millionaire Maker for fantasy football every week like an idiot because you never know. Hey, you never know. Spags, what is your DK name? It's Chris Spags, but I don't accept tournaments because I only play, or anything because I only play tournaments. Is this what Michael Bisping represents? Yes, it is. Playline.com/r/Awesemo. Michael Bisping's preferred DFS site, and if you don't like that, he might punch you in the head.
Yeah, he would.
All right, guys. What is lowball tournament? I have no idea what that is.
You got to try to get the lowest score on DK tomorrow.
Oh, so, boy, that sounds like not that hard.
No, I won't be participating in that.
That sounds like it might be up my alley. Maybe with Antoine Murphy's picks, I can get there. Just being a hater now. All right, guys. We'll be back tomorrow. I'm gonna take some.
I won't be back tomorrow.
Well, we will theoretically be back. We as a channel will be back tomorrow. I will be here with Jake Hari. Jake will help censor me better than Josh does. He won't fan the flames of my hatred in the hopes of getting free chicken out of it.
So I'll live for those rants.
We will be back tomorrow. Josh will be back on Wednesday, but I'll be here tomorrow talking NBA, talking MLB, maybe talking some NHL. Who knows? But we'll try to figure it out. And yeah, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for giving us terrible suggestions, one guy in the chat. And I love you all. See you tomorrow.
Best of luck, everybody.
Bye, guys.